Hi guys, welcome back to Season 6 of dangerclose. As was predicted before, this week we'll be facing Nervier and Sollicitatio once again. Unfortunately, the debuffs are indeed minus 90% hit to ground units for Nervier and minus 75% air unit speed for Sol respectively. I'll be combining both these guides together in one video as Sol this season is also very straightforward and the strategy to maximize your score is also not very complex. But Nervier though is once again behind a thick, indestructible RNG cesspool. Ugh. Without further ado, let's get to it! We'll begin this week's guide with Sollicitatio. If you're unfamiliar with her mechanics, you can check it out here in this corner for my previous video about her. Generally speaking, you'll need Gabriel to stop her in the tracks, Jushiyun to protect your backline through his counterattacks, and Sanae for the buff that applies to this specific boss. You can still make it work without Sanae though, but if you wish to climb rank competitively, you will definitely need her in your team. With that out of the way, the best units to use for your damage dealer this season would be Kim So-bin, Xiaolin, and Xiaoyun. The SSR Xiaoyun, not the awakened one. Also, Xiaoyun is really more of a buff and debuffer in this scenario. Depending on how tanky your Gabriel is, you can actually get away with only a single healer like Yang Harim, so you can use another DPS or debuffer to increase your overall DPS. I would also recommend using Kami Izumi here and save Enterprise for Nervier. If you do not have Kami Izumi, then New Detroit is your other best bet. But if you don't have either, you can still use Enterprise here since it will serve you better here than Nervier anyway. Another basic requirement would be to have Jushiyun with 50% skill haste for a smooth and secure run. That will make sure that he always has his counter attack ready when the boss uses her skill. However, if you're not able to have 50% skill haste on Jushiyun, pairing him with Harim can still alleviate the problem. However, you might encounter certain scenarios where he just doesn't have his counterattack still, though it doesn't really happen very often. Moving on to the strategy, you can start off the fight by dropping Gabriel, Shiyud and Harim first to stop the boss from moving forward, and beginning the perma counterattack cycle for Jushiyun. Harim will help increase the team's skill haste and keep Gabriel alive. You can then drop Kim So-bin and Xiaolin next before your debuffers and then the buffers to maximize your DPS. In case your Gabriel is dying too early, you can prioritize dropping another healer like Arius to keep him alive. However, in the event that your Gabriel cannot survive even with 2 healing support, he is probably underleveled, insufficiently skilled up, and or does not have enough tanky stats beyond HP, such as anti-ground damage resist, etc. If this happens, you might want to consider aiming to score as much as you can instead of killing the boss. The easier way to beat the boss would be to kill her before the timer hits 1 minute and 4 seconds when she triggers her final phase. Should your DPS prove to be insufficient, this is the clearest indicator. All in all, that's about all the advice I can give for the Sol fight. If you have any questions such as what alternatives is available for certain units, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel so we can hurry up and hit 1k subs for the special event. Carrying on to the next boss, we'll be looking at Nervier. Just saying her name makes me recall traumas. Oh my god. Nervier's fight in general has 2 problems you need to solve should you wish to kill her. Number 1, you'll need to protect your units from the sniper's attacks. Number 2, you'll need to take out the ads along the way to reach the boss as soon as possible. Sounds simple. And it usually is, until Zlong Games decides to with us with the minus 90% hit reduction buff. To do this, you'll need Adele and a frontline tank in case Adele's spawns are not there. Rosaria will be your main deep air DPS, and a good balance of support and sub DPS is what you need. Other than Chifuyu, Minato and Chinatsu, which covered 3 roles you'll need, here are a few team comps you can try that work quite well with me. Do be reminded that these teams are merely suggestions and work with the gears they had. You might need to tweak them a bit to work for you. As for gear recommendations, Rosaria needs to have your best DPS gear, be it cooldown reduction or pure attack sets. A standard HP tank set for your dedicated defender like Yumi. If you are using a striker like Chifuyu as your main tank, make sure she is equipped with tuned Gordius gears at least. Cooldown reduction isn't really essential other than for your healers, since Chinatsu, Chifuyu and Minato all have their skill haste buffed by default. You'll want to use Enterprise for this fight or any other offensive ships that you have. The reason why I would recommend Enterprise is because it does give you a little bit more extra hit, so hopefully that the minus 90% hit reduction doesn't really do too much damage to you. It still hurts. Finally, instead of deployment sequence for the boss, this time I would like to list out the priorities instead. Number 1, you want Adele spawns up for as much as you can. Number 2, you want to spam drop Rosaria if she isn't on high-end CDR set for maximum damage and ultimate spam. Number 3, do not hesitate to redeploy any dead units. Prioritize having at least one front line for a more stable run. And that's it for Nervier's guide. To help you with your runs, I've included some of the attempts I did on multiple accounts. Hope it may prove useful. One gentle reminder, the dangerclose pilot run request is tentatively full. If you'd like to come see how I can help various accounts try to kill the boss, do drop by my streams on Monday and Friday on Twitch, Wednesday on YouTube at 3 PM GMT+8. Until the next video, good luck with your runs. I'll see you again soon.